Spiritual teachings come in many forms, in great texts, in great teachers, and in nature herself. Nature is one of the great teachers of the spiritual path, of the spiritual way of life. The bending branches in the trees, in the wind, they teach us and they model flexibility. They model the ease and the grace with which it is possible to bend and flow with the winds of change. Out in our vegetable garden, the seedlings, fragile seedlings that are pushing through the soil, teach us to trust in the process of growth and to open ourselves up to the nourishment and the support that is all around us, just ready to help us to grow and unfold. And of course, the grand movement of the seasons of the year are profound, profound teachers. And that is what we're focusing on now as we explore the symbolism of the winter solstice. Because the mystics of old recognized the teachings of the spirit of life in the changing of the seasons. And they particularly paid attention to the shifting relationship of the day and the night as a symbol, as a reminder and an invitation to discover the richness, the meaning, and the grace that is present through these cycles of alternating and interrelating light and dark. And of course, they recognized there were these critical points, these turning points in the year, 4 of them, at the vernal or the spring equinox and the autumnal equinox, the day force and the night force, the light and the dark. Those two energies were balanced, equinox, they're equal day, equal night. And that was a particular moment in the cycle of stillness. Now at the summer solstice, the day energy, the day force, the radiant light of the sun force is growing and growing and reaching its peak. The flowers are blossoming. There's tremendous energy in the land and in the air and in people, and everyone's feeling this creative overflow of that's celebrating existence itself and the exuberant display of the summer solstice. And the message which echoes to the ancient rishis, Aham Brahmasmi, I am the creative principle. It is shining forth at the summer solstice. But of course, even in that summer solstice, there is a deeper, more esoteric teaching. For whatever expands must contract, whatever goes up must come down. And at the summer solstice, it is the birth of the night force. The birth of night. Nights begin to grow in length at that moment. First as an imperceptible whisper. The nights grow longer and longer until at the autumn equinox, there's an equivalency again of day and night. And it's poignantly clear at that moment that the light is truly waning and that the dark is rising. But the dark is not bad. The dark is an expression of the supreme radiance that is inviting us to let go. That's what the night force is. Let go. Turn within. Go deeper. Redeem what has been hidden. Uncover the sacred treasures that are buried in the depths of the psyche, in the depths of the soul. And the moment of this season of culminates at the winter solstice that we're in now, the longest night of the year, when the night force is now at its peak. This is the holy season of letting go. Now, I'm recording this during the time of COVID, and it's particularly striking in this time. In some sense, we have been in a prolonged visitation of the night force, of the letting go, of the subtraction and the restriction, and of the inturning of the life force. Well, we've been in that situation, but the question always remains with every cycle, have we received the message? And perhaps we have to some degree, collectively, but the mystic doesn't rely on the collective attunement to the sacred wisdom. Rather, she takes on that responsibility joyfully to receive the sacred transmission and message of this time, which is to open ourselves up, open up our hearts, open our minds to the sacred practice of letting go. So the weeks between the autumn equinox and the winter solstice is an initiation into the path of subtraction. Yeah, the path of subtraction, which is kind of ironic because there's a lot of addition and accumulation that is encouraged, at least culturally and economically, during this time. When spiritually, let me make sure this is working, when spiritually the invitation is really subtraction, release, stillness, and letting go. And what are we letting go of? We're letting go of the day force, the solar energy, which is a symbol of our individual conscious identity. Letting go of the constructs of our personal history and our culturally structured self-sense in order to attune to welcome the hidden, deeper self. During this time of subtraction, we can see and feel how our surface identity, what is called the persona like a mask, that is, the mask is riddled with cultural conditioning. And that's fine, that's what it is. It's an adaptation that is shaped by the emotional programs, by the traumas, by the cultural trances that we have experienced in our whole trajectory during this period from the autumn to the winter moment. We have an opportunity to lovingly witness those constructs and to let them be and to let them go. The practice of all mysticism at its deepest level of meditation, contemplation, is a movement of subtraction, of letting go of layers, returning to primordial being. Be still, it says in the Bible. Be still and know that I am God. This I amness, this beingness, this primordial nature is found in the dark. That is to say, it is found in the consciousness that is empty of conditioning. Welcome to the winter solstice.